I feel like we really are on the cusp of a mass institutional adoption, both of DeFi and of other blockchain technologies. I think this is also like one of the key obstacles to mass retail adoption. A lot of people in the space previously thought that retail adoption was like the big wave, but I think institutional adoption is a precursor. You have to connect to where people are. You have to go to where the value is. You can't build a new financial system from zero, ignoring the existing financial system where everybody's money is, where all the value is, where the real world is, trillions of dollars in value. You can't just say, oh, forget about all that. Let's just build something new over here. That doesn't work. And then we can deliver on those promises. Like, we all want to bank the unbanked, but like, the unbanked, they have to be able to spend their money to buy groceries and pay their phone bill. And so we have to have that institutional connectivity. And I don't think there are any obstacles.
As you can see from that video of David Schwartz, who's the creator of XRP, Ripple is very confident that there is something about to happen that's going to drive mass adoption of XRP. So in this video, we're going to be talking about what Ripple is doing in terms of forming the narrative, what's backing that up, what the SEC might have to do with it, and how global payments are being shaped potentially by XRP, and of course, what that's going to mean for XRP's price and the rest of the markets. Right now, Bitcoin is having a bit of a sell-off. We're going to talk about what that means, what price could it be going down to, what the open interest is doing, what a capitulation could look like, and is this a bear market where you should just get rid of all your crypto? Hey everyone, my name is Randy and welcome back to the Late Night Grind. And right now on the channel, we are covering cryptocurrency news, investment markets, and personal finance. So if any or all those topics interest you, go ahead, hit that subscribe button and join the Late Night Grind community. Also, if you do a couple things, I'd appreciate it. Smash the thumbs up button and watch this video all the way to the end. Don't forget to hit that bell notification icon. That way YouTube will notify you when I release a new video. So if you do those things, I'd really appreciate it. All right, guys, let's jump into it. So as you saw in that video, David Schwartz of Ripple, one of the co-creators of XRP, is now saying that they are basically on the cusp of mass adoption, and it's going to be driven by the institutional markets, not retail, like a lot of people have thought since the origin of cryptocurrencies, that retail was going to drive it. And in a sense, they did. But for the rest of the world to have that adoption, it's going to have to start with the mainstream industrial and enterprise money. So even though they are shaping that up to be the narrative, Brad Garlinghouse and David Schwartz were both recently on videos talking about something else. And this more has to do with the retail side. More so with what XRP, of course, is known for, is that it's frictionless and speed of payments. In fact, here's David Schwartz on a recent video discussing it.
Happen no matter what. That is a given. We had a revolution in the physical delivery of goods with the shipping container, which changed globalization, started globalization. We had a revolution in the delivery of information with the internet. But what we don't know is, what is the TCP/IP of money? What is the shipping container of value? We don't know that yet. There's going to be one, though. That is a definite. And that's going to bring changes. And what I also want to get through is that one of those changes that I foresee and that I think is important is that the size of payments are going to shrink, drastically shrink. Many of you people here probably have a job and you probably get paid twice a month or every 2 weeks. Well, why is that? You probably pay bills once a month. Well, why is that? It's because payments are expensive and clunky. But if payments were cheap and simple, then those frequencies could go up. Money could be streamed at you while you're working. You could stream money to your landlord to pay for the place where you're staying. Now, I know those sound dumb, and I'll be blunt. Yeah, they are. And I'll tell you, if we were talking about email in the late 90s and you said to me, what are people going to use email for? I probably could not have given you the examples that is on everyone probably here, probably has a cell phone, probably has email on it, and probably has hundreds of messages that look nothing like postal mail or the messaging that existed in the late 90s. None of that could I have predicted. If you'd asked me if the internet had enough bandwidth in the year 2000, I would have said, yeah, it has plenty of bandwidth. Well, could I have imagined Netflix and on-demand video? That's ridiculous, right? The cost of bandwidth is too high for that. But the internet drove the cost of bandwidth down to zero. And if the cost of payments go down to zero, the world is going to change.
And then to back that up, you had Brad Garlinghouse talking about something similar in terms of what XRP could be used for on payment rails.
Here in Singapore, I believe you get paid once a month. In the United States, you get paid once every 2 weeks. Has anyone ever thought about why you get paid once a month or once every 2 weeks? It comes down to the friction of payments. And if we can remove the friction of payments, why can't you get paid every day? Or even more crazily, why don't you get paid every hour or every second? You could have a stream of value showing up in your whatever repository of value. Now, why you need to get paid every second, I'm not sure. But I do think there's a lot of dynamics that have been built around getting paid every 2 weeks or getting paid every month. And as we remove the friction of payments and make that dramatically easier, I think you're going to see secondary and tertiary effects that are very difficult to predict, just like we couldn't have predicted Grab 20 years ago.
And so now you have that as the backdrop. They are choosing this time to talk about the potential mass adoption of XRP. So I wanted to take this time and really dive in and see what this crypto market cycle is doing. Because are we headed into a bear market? Well, if you look at the sell-off that's been currently happening for the past few days, it looks a little bit scary. But here's the thing, according to CoinGlass, the vast majority of the selling of Bitcoin in the last 3 days is being done by those that purchased it over the last 30 days, meaning the people that bought it at or near the top in the 95,000+ range up to 108,000 range. And they are selling at a loss. Clearly, they are the paper hands, they are the weak hands that are being shaken out because they probably think this is the beginning of a bear market or that there's just too much of a downtrend that the price action could take and they don't want to risk it. Now, of course, altcoin season hasn't even begun yet, but altcoins are getting hurt as well. XRP trading at about 215 as of the making of this video. But I think we're going to see a capitulation soon. I have it on my charts at right around 212 is a major trend line support specifically for XRP. So we're going to see if that actually holds or if it's just going to smash through because Bitcoin sell-off continues to happen. The other thing that I took a look at was the open interest, meaning the leverage that people are trading specifically Bitcoin with. And as of right now, there is a ton of open interest being wiped out, being pulled out of the markets because of this sell-off. There's still a lot more open interest to go. There's a potential that the price of Bitcoin may have to go down into the upper 70s, 77, 78,000 for the open interest to be wiped out enough that it could be cleared out and made way for a new upward leg in this bull run back to the 100,000 range and back to a new all-time high. So we're going to see if that happens. There's been plenty of open interest that's been wiped out, but in my opinion, there's still enough that could be wiped out in the next couple days. Now, if you do any trading on cryptocurrencies, I want to make sure you do it on Bydfi. They're a partner of the Late Night Grind community. They have great rates. You can get deposit bonuses. You can get cashback on your trades. You can be upgraded to VIP status. If you contact me directly, depending on how much volume you do, I can get you a good deal over there. Also, you can get free trade signals. If you're interested in trades like this, and this on almost a daily basis, their trade signals are absolutely crushing it. And you can get access to those free trade signals if you sign up for Bydfi, deposit $100, and go ahead and click the link in the Telegram below where you'll have access to all that. Okay, so I want you guys to let me know if you're going to be buying this dip, whether it's Bitcoin, XRP, you're accumulating other altcoins. Let me know in the comment section down below what your guys' plan is over the next week, and if we're going to see this capitulation either today, tomorrow, or if we're going to have to wait another week or two to see some upward movement. So now that we have that, I did want to discuss what the SEC is doing and what could be clearing the way for Brad Garlinghouse, David Schwartz to be talking so bullishly about XRP, how it's so close to getting this mass adoption that they've been talking about. One of which, of course, is the SEC. Now, we've been waiting for the SEC to officially drop the case against Brad Garlinghouse, Chris Larsen, and Ripple since the SEC had appealed it. Since the Trump administration took over, the SEC is, of course, changing. A couple of days ago, Trump went up to a podium and basically said the war on cryptocurrency is over. Things at the SEC are changing. And so far, that's true. In fact, we've seen the SEC officially drop the case against Coinbase. They've officially dropped the case against Kraken. They've now officially dropped the case against Uniswap. They've also dropped a litigation in which they were appealing the decision on a broker-dealer license issue. So literally the only thing that we're waiting for is a decision for the SEC to drop the case against Ripple. A couple of articles that I was reading said probably the end of March is what we'd be looking at in terms of a time frame. Personally, I thought it was going to be well before that. But nonetheless, that's a potential timeline to keep an eye on. So if that happens, that's all said and done, the SEC is all cleared up with Ripple. Now you can see why Brad Garlinghouse, David Schwartz, they're so bullish on XRP and starting to talk about how close they are to mass adoption, not just from a retail side, but from an institutional money side. The institutions, the one that hold the big dollars. And of course, you have the XRP ETFs, which probably will take longer till later in the year to officially be approved, but we'll have to wait and see. Regardless, 2025 is going to be a wild year because right now we're at a point in the timeline where You got half the people thinking this is the start of a bear market, and the other half thinking, nope, this is just a sell-off. Get rid of the paper hands for the final 1 or 2 legs up. Having a blow off top towards the end of the year, we'll have to see. I've been tracking the M2 global money supply. That still looks like a Q2, Q3 peak for the M2 global money supply before that may start to shrink. So all that is a lot to keep an eye on. Make sure you subscribe to the Late Night Grind to cover all of this stuff, including potential Doge checks. If you're interested in that, make sure you keep an eye on this channel. All right, guys, I want to thank you so much for watching this video all the way to the end, for smashing that thumbs up button, and as always, see you guys on the next video.
Lambo dreams fueled by them crypto stacks. Future in our hands, we ain't looking back. XRP to the moon, watch them rise and shine.